Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today we've got a fun puzzle to look at today. Now, I am very much behind on my Sudoku. There's so many puzzles get posted. Just trying to get through every one that looks interesting is really a bear. Pun intended. This one, though, was really caught my eye because if you know Megan033, who creates most of the Fog of War puzzles that I do, not all of them, but a good chunk of them, this puzzle is actually by one of their sons who turned 8 years old a few weeks ago. Belated happy birthday, Fuzzy or Gummy Bear. So this was kind of done as a fun puzzle, in my understanding, for their 8th birthday. So having an 8-year-old creating puzzles that apparently are put together very well is awesome to see. So I thought it'd be a great thing to kind of put on this channel. I'm sure other people have done this one as well. But that said, let's jump into this thing and see if we can get this thing figured out, or if an 8-year-old can beat me at this game, or at least make me look a fool. But sometimes we all like to watch me and make a fool of myself, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. Anyway, let's get into it. So we have, and this of course is called Fuzzy Bear by Gummy Bear. Now we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and of course every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. Now we've got killer cages, it looks like. Digits in a cage do not repeat and sum to the clue in the top left corner. So if you look at this one here, these digits, whatever they may be, there's 4 of them, they must add up to that clue in the top left corner, which of course is 10, and they cannot repeat. Digits along marked diagonals sum to the number indicated outside the grid. Okay, we're talking a little killer. So this one right here, these 3 digits add up to that clue provided. Digits along each thermometer must increase starting from the bulb end. So we have 1 thermometer. This is the bulb end of it. The digits increase from that until they get to the tip. And let's scroll down. There's quite a few different rule types on this one, but they're all fairly common. So now we get cells filled with a square must be even. So we have a few of them here. These must all be even digits. Adjacent digits along a green whisper line must have a difference of at least 5. So here on this 8-looking German whisper, the digits, whatever digit any of these are, the ones adjacent to them must be different by at least 5. Digits along a yellow Nabner line cannot contain repeated digits, and no 2 digits along a line may be consecutive. Now, is that normal, the normal Nabner? I'm not quite sure if it is. I haven't done a ton of Nabners, so essentially it's like the anti-Renban. They cannot repeat, and well, I guess it is probably a Nabner. I think there's another one that's just non-repetitive, but these digits here cannot repeat, and there cannot be any consecutive digits along this line. And then, of course, the last one, digits along a red 10 line must be separated into sequential groups that each group sums to a total of 10. So here we have this red line. We just must divide the line in some way into groups of 10, groups of digits that equal to 10. And that's it. I say that's it. Like I said, there's quite a few different rule sets, but none of them are necessarily unusual or difficult to grasp. So that said, let's get started on this thing and have some fun with Fuzzy Bear. So where to start? Now, looking at this quite quickly, there are quite a few things that we can start to determine that are fairly obvious, I guess is a good way to put it. Like this 3 clue must be a 1-2. This 4 clue must be a 1-3. This 10 clue must be 1, 2, 3, 4. Is 1, 2, 3, and 4 added up together equal 10. This obviously can't be a 1 or a 2 because of these guys. Now that we've said that, we've got 2 different 7 clues. And it's not quite enough, but this 1, 3 pointing over here, this is probably just me. The other screen, it's easier to see. Maybe a little bit. The red line just makes it difficult for me to see the colors. I think I had mentioned, and I hadn't taken a chance to look at it, if there's a possibility of changing the color of these marks I'll have to remind myself again to try to look at that, see if that is a possibility, just because sometimes it's difficult for me to see them. It's a personal problem. So the 7 here, we know it can't be 6-1 or 4-3, so therefore it must be a 2-5. Now that leaves this guy could still be 6-1 or 4-3. We don't quite know yet. All right, so now we don't quite know a ton about this 10 line. Now we do know there's a 4 on it, but we could easily have a 6 on either side, or we could have a couple of digits that add up to 6 still. 21, again, there's not quite much there we can do. I'm going to come back to these in a second. I'm just kind of latching on to our killer cages at the moment. These guys, there's a possibility that could have a 9, there's a possibility it couldn't have a 9. So we can't quite write anything, and if it doesn't have a 9, it has to be 8, 7, 6, because those add up to 21. The 15 as well, there's a couple of ways to make 15. So, and then again, the 8, not a whole lot we can do with. So let's look at these. We know that these all have to be even. There's only 4 even digits in a normal Sudoku, 2, 4, 6, 8, so we can put those in. And what does that do for us? Well, we might be able to, I'm going to say we might be able to start looking down this thermo here before we maybe try to look at some of these other digits. The only other thing we can say is we on this 8, the little killer, we know there has to be a 1 because it's 3 different digits that are equaling to 8, and you must have a 1. If you don't, you have 2, 3, 4, which is 9. So one of these must be 1s. Okay, let's look at the thermo now. Because we know the bare minimum to start this thermo is going to be a 3, because we've got the 1, 2 here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There may be something we can use with our bunch of evens that we have showing here. Let's kind of take a look at it real quick. I'm going to put these in as bare minimums. Let's see if anything shows. What about the max? So this can only go up to 5. I'm gonna type all those in for a second. I know a lot of people tell me I should just start marking everything up. I like to try to at least avoid that for the beginning until it becomes more apparent that I can't see what's going on. If this is a 5, we'd force a 6, 7, 8, 9, which means we'd be removing 6 and 8 from both of these, but from all of these, but we can't do that because we can't put 6 and 8 both in here. So this can never be 5. Now, is it possible it could be 4? If it's 4, we could do some combination of 5, 6, 7, 9, and we're only removing one of those digits here. Well, no, that's actually not true. If it's 4, no matter what, I think no matter what we do, we have to have another of the even digits, right? Because you can never have, the only thing that's left after a 4 in terms of an odd digit would be 5, 7, 9. That can't work. So yeah. So what it means is that we definitely have to have this be an odd digit, since 3, 4, and 5 are the only versions that could even fit on this bulb, and 5 would still kill us down here. This must be a 3. And we're going to have to skip one of our even digits. So we know one of these two is even. Or somewhere in here we have an even digit from 4, 6, or 8. We just don't know which one exactly it is. Yeah, because we still have only 5, 7, and 9 that could be placed in terms of digits. So what does that tell me? Well, it tells me that this is either 4, 6, or 8. Because we can never put a 2 on here. And I think what it's also going to tell us is that this is just a 1. Because we know we're going to have an even digit here. We know we have 3 other even digits here. So that's all of our even digits. This must be 1. This must be 2. And now we know this can't be 2 in the other way. I think the first way I started looking at it would be valid as well. Knowing that we can't have a 2 in any of these, we're going to have a 2 in one of these, which would have to end up being here and rule this out as being a 2. The other way I was looking at it was, we had to have a 4 or a 6 here, which rules out either one of those two here, which 4, 6, or 8, sorry, which rules all those out from here. And therefore, the 2 would be over here. Multiple ways to look at it, I guess, and they all kind of come to the same conclusion. So maybe we need to really, 4, 5, what do you say? If this is, can this ever be 5 now? We'd end up with, yeah, you could do like 6, 7, 9. So that is possible. This cannot be 6, because if it's 6, we have to have 7, 8, 9, and we break this again. So here we're going to get down to, we can have the 6. I think we can have a 7 here as well, because we could do 5, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll just go up the list here, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. Now, if this is 8, though, now we could still make 8 work there, because it could be 7, 5, 4, or 7, 6, 5, something along those lines. Wait, no, that doesn't work. If this is 8, we cannot put another even digit on it. So that would break the puzzle, because we could do 7 and 5, but then we're forced to do 4, so this can't be an 8. All right. Now, granted, it's probably a lot of marking unnecessarily, but it is what it is. So, what do we end up? Let's clean up a little bit here. And we've got a Nabner line. So now we know we can't have 1 or 3 on it. We know this digit can't be 1, 2, or 3. So it has to be from 4, 5, or 6. We're almost getting a set of digits we can work with here. Where else can I look? The 5 doesn't really help too much down here, because the German whisper doesn't take up too much. It only takes out one thing, and this 15 only takes out one thing, so we still have 5 in these 3 spaces. And I don't think we can do much with this 8 either, because this is so undetermined as to what goes where. Because again, we could do 7, 1, forces the 1 here, and these are 2, 3, 4. We could do 6, 2, it just pushes the 2 here, etc. And we can go down the list, and it just tells us whatever this digit is if we ever get a chance to figure what this one is. Okay. So, where do I need to look now? Is there anything on this Nabner that we can look at to determine what needs to go where? And I'll scroll down to the Nabner. Rules are out there. What about this digit? We know this has to be a high digit, because it can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it has to be in the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 space. But I don't think that's going to limit us enough down here, because essentially we know that, well, these 3 of them are for the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 range. But there are a couple of different ways where we could lay these out. Because if we know we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we've got 6 digits with 3 spaces, and none of them can be consecutive with each other. So it's either something like 4, 6, 8, or 5, 7, 9, or, like 4, 6, 9, anything like that, where there's a gap in all of them. So I'm not quite sure we can get into that yet. Although we can look at this 7 clue a little bit further and say this cannot be a 5 because it forced this to be a 2. And we can't do quite too much left with that. Well, maybe it does actually. It gives us a 1, 3, which I didn't even really notice. So we got a 1, 3 pair here. Now, granted, that's not doing a ton because it doesn't inflict any kind of issue on any of these. And it doesn't affect that Nabner there either. Now, what about our red 10 line? Can we do anything with it? Let's see. Again, we know these equal 4, so we have to somehow add another digit or 2 that'll equal us to 6. But there are multiple ways to do that. Now, clearly we can't leave a single digit left over to be able to equal 10. So on the end, we have to at least have 2 left over. We could have 3. We don't know. I guess it could technically do a 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and this be part of a 110 region, and then there could be some other conglomeration of digits that equals what have you. So these two don't have to necessarily be together on the grouping of digits that equals 10. Okay, so what is our next move? I really don't see a whole lot we can do on this German whisper off the cuff, but maybe we should take a look at it. Because we do have a digit here. While it is semi-restricted, it's not as restricted as it looks. Because we have 4 different, but it's not different. We have 4 digits that have to be 5 away from this. So you'd immediately think, oh, well, 1 or 9 has to be, or is the most, are the only digits that can have 4 other digits away from them. So 1 would be 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. But these don't have to be repetitious. Now, these 2 can't repeat. These 2 can't repeat. These 2 can't repeat, and these 2 can't repeat. But there's definitely the possibility of there being multiple digits that could repeat. Now, I guess what we can do is look at this in terms of these killer cages looking at it. Now, we know it can't be 1, 2, 3, or 5. We also know it can't be 4, because as we all know on German Whisper, when you have a point on a German Whisper that is a 4, the digits around it must all be 9s, because those are the only things that work. In that case, in this certain scenario, that would blow this one out. So this has to be a high digit. So let's put that in. We know it can't be 6 again, because it's the same concept as 4 with 9. 6 can only go with a 1, so therefore that would kind of break the mold. So we have a 7, 8, 9 high digits. That's going to force all of these to be low. And I don't think we can ever put a 4. Yeah, we can never put a 4 on any of these. And we can technically never put a 6 on any of them as well. So we can label these as 7, 8, 9. So we do get a 7, 8, 9 triple here, which might be useful. But we can further reduce some of these items. Now this can't be 1 or 3. Again, this red line kind of hiding a little bit from my eye, these digits. So this cannot be 1 or 3. So this is 2. Now if that's 2, this is not 2. Now we already knew there was a 2 down here, so these 2s don't really do much for us. Although we do know one of these has to be 2, but I don't know if I want to mark that in just yet. Okay, what can we do off of that? Now, since we know there must be a 7 in one of these locations, there's going to have to be a situation where one of them sees 1s and 2s. Now, the problem is, like I said previously, this could still be a 7. Because we could have 2 and 1, and then we could have 2 and 1 this way, and that would not break the puzzle. Okay. I was hoping that would get us a little bit more. It doesn't seem to at the moment. So what is our next move? Now this 8 still isn't really useful to us. We already knew it really, but we can't have a 7, 1 here. And this reinforces that. we have to have, no, that's not going to do. We're looking at this column because we know 7, 8, and 9 are taken out now. There's certain digits that we must still have on this column. 1 being one of them, and we can't have a 1 in any of these, but we could still have a 1 in 3 other places. It would kind of be nice to be able to put a 1 here and say this has to be a 3, and therefore we can get rid of our 7s here, and that would force it down here, but we do not have that information, so we can't do that. Okay, gotta go hunting again. Try to find the next place to really bear down and look. Now, was there anything in here I just missed? Like, obviously, where does a 9 go in this column? It goes here. Because there's no other place it can go. So that would have been an easy thing to see right off the bat. I didn't do it. Now, granted, it doesn't really do a whole lot for us just yet, but... Now, it does push this down to 7 or 8, which is starting to pinch down on these guys, but not quite enough. Now, is there anything else on here that I didn't see that I should have? And not really. Because 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and 8s all have multiple places to go. Now, the 7 has to be in one of these two. The 5 can be in one of these two, which straddles this, which isn't as useful. Okay. Anything on this row that could be of use? Really, the only thing would probably be this guy here. We know we have to have 4, 6, 7, and 8, though. I guess we know there can't be an 8 here. Because if there was an 8 here, you'd have to either have a 2 here and leave a single to be 10, or you'd have 8, and it would be like a 1, 1. Again, you'd be leaving a single, so you can't put an 8 here, which just means an 8 has to go in one of these 3. Again, not useful. So no point in continuing to look at that at the moment. Okay, now we have to figure out what is next. And this 21, I can't quite use enough, get enough information on it, I don't think, to figure that out. Maybe I need to start marking these guys just to see if there's anything that's going, because I know there's going to be a little bit of reduction on this side here. These can be 9, 6, or 8, 7. This clearly can't be 6 or 8 because of these guys. So therefore this can't be 7 or 9. That did not create a whole lot of usefulness. Again, the 21, there's multiple options there. The 7, there's still multiple options here. Because it could still be 6, 1 or 4, 3. Okay. We can figure this out, right? 3, I wonder if there's a deeper dive we can do into this guy here. Or maybe there's a guy, kind of not forgot about it, but the little killer and the 8 cage, do they work together in some fashion that we can figure something else out? Because we know these all together would equal 16. But that still leaves 29 left over. Wait. There's only one way to make 29, isn't there? In this instance. Because 9, 8, and 7 are 24. And then you'd add the 5 in to get the rest of the way. So maybe that is it. 9, 8, 7, and 5. Right? I did my math correct. 16. 45 minus 16 is 29. That seems correct. Okay. So what we end up with is we have some triple digit that equals to an 8, and then a single or double digit that equals to an 8. Now, can we remove options in certain ways that won't work, I guess? So what are their options? It's either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. Those are the possibilities. Now, if we did 1, 3, 4, this could never be 7, 1. It could be 6, 2. If we did, it could only be 6, 2. And no, there's no conflict there. Now, if we did 1, 2, 5, again, it couldn't be 7, 1. It couldn't be 6, 2. And it couldn't be 5, 3. So that seems like it doesn't work. Let me just go through that one more time to make sure I'm not making a mistake there. 1, 2, 5 would make this not be able to be 7, 1, would not let it be 6, 2, and not let it be 3, 5. Yeah, there's the only ways to go. So this cannot be 1, 2, 5. Okay. So it must be 1, 3, 4. This can't be a 1. This can't be a 3. And if it can, that leaves over this being a 2, 6. And we don't have anything quite looking at that, I don't think. Or do we? Do we get like some weird quintuple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We do. That's a bit interesting. Again, pencil marking comes in handy sometimes, even though I like to avoid it. So these have to be from 7, 8, and 9. And no, we don't quite. I thought we might have had a digit, but we don't quite. Because there's multiple places that these digits can go. Okay. My mic just looked like it was being weird for a second there. Anyway, it seems to still be working. Now, we don't quite have the same thing here. I guess we have to put a 5 in one of these two. Although, again, that's little bits and pieces here and there. Okay, there must be something in one of these clues that I just haven't fully fleshed out. And I don't know what that is. Just doing a bit of scanning around to see if I can find something here. And I don't quite see it. And I still don't think I can do anything to this 7. Do we have maybe an X-wing somewhere I'm not seeing? Don't think so. Let's look back at this guy, I guess. We know we can only have one even digit. In fact, we have to have an even digit. I don't see where we can rule out either 4, 6, or 8. Because we could easily have 4, 5, 7. We could have 4, no, we can't have 4, 7, 8. But 4, 5, and 7 is a valid option. Now, if we didn't have the 4, clearly this would be a 5. And we're either looking at 6, 7, or 7, 8. Well, this can't be 6. I guess we can say that. Because if that's a 6, it would have to be 5 and 4, and we double up. again, we keep running into that little issue where I just don't seem like I can quite tease this out just yet. Okay. Where can I go next? Doing a quick scan back of our rules, but there's nothing more there that's going to help me, I don't believe. So I've got to be able to figure out one other clue, maybe, or one of these guys, or what have you. And even the German whisper, if I were to take a shot at providing options, it doesn't seem like it does. It doesn't seem like it breaks anything. Like this could easily be a 3 with 2 1s next to it. That would force these guys to be 8s and 9s, and this be a 7. That works perfectly fine. Now, if this was a 1, it would force these to... Okay, so that actually does... This can't be a 1. And these actually have to be different. No, they don't have to be. But they can't be both be 3s. So one of them has to at least be a 1. This can't be a 1. If it's a 1, it forces these to be both 3s. And then you can never put a 7 anywhere along the line. Okay, again, tiny little things. I don't think... Yeah, we can't really run that one any further. We just know that if this is a 3, this is a 1. If this is a 3, this is a 1. Or they could both be 1s. Is that true? If they are both 1s... Yeah, it just forces a 1 down here instead. Okay. All right, Fuzzy Bear, or Gummy Bear, you're, you've got my mind going. It is a Monday that I'm recording this on, so I'm going to make that excuse that Mondays are always a little bit harder. The brain isn't quite going as good as it should be. But this is definitely a good puzzle here. I'm just got to try to find the little gaps here and there to get into it. I'm starting to think I'm going to have to go into making some marks to see what's what and see if something pops out at me. So we know this has to be 6-1 or 4-3. I don't see anything there that does anything for us. This 21, again, it could have a 9 and it could have an 8. What if it didn't have a 9? This would be 8, 7, 6. This would be forced to be a 9. Does that do anything? It would force this to be a 9, and then this to be a 9. One of these two would have to be a 9. One of these two would have to be a 9. One of these would be a 9. Yeah, so can't see anything down the line there. This 8, it still has all of its options to it. 7, 1, 6, 2, and 5, 3. So that's not going to get me anything. Huh. Say that, trying to look at this guy, I don't know that I can really say much with it. The red 10 line, that is. If we were to think that these would be part of the same red line, but I think we're just going down something where there's so many different options, this might not even be useful. If they are part of the same red line, that kind of forces this to be either a 6 or you have to add this plus another digit to it. What do I not see? Now we ruled this out to be an 8, right? What about the other options? It's only 4, 6, and 7 left. If this is 7, let's say, these could be 1, 2 to equal 10. Or this could be a 7, 3 to equal 10. And you'd have whatever you need up here and then whatever other concoction you need. Huh. Now, I keep jumping around because I can't, really trying to see what it is that I'm supposed to be doing here. We have 14 between these two, but again, we need 31 more left over. We have plenty of room to get to 31, I would think. 9, 8, 7, and 6 is 30. And that could easily be a 1. We know we have to have at least the 9, 8, and 7 in these digits, which is 24. Then we have to make up how much more? Sorry, I just lost my mind there for a second. So we've got 14. These have to equal 31. So we know we have to have 9, 8, and 7 in some capacity. It's not these 3, but there has to be a 9, 8, 7. So this would actually has to be a 9, 8, 7. And we get a 9, 8, 7 triple here. This has to be from either 1, 3, 4, or 6. So if we've got 9, 8, 7 equals 24, we have to get to 31. We need 7 more. So this digit is either 4 or 6. And okay, maybe that was it. Maybe I just didn't mark things up again. I think if I'm correct in what my math was telling me, because we know we need to have 987 in this region. That's just part of Sudoku. We know it can't ever be here because we already have a 987 trip. We know, of course, this can't ever be 987. So these two together plus this one have to be 9, 8, and 7. Now we know those equal 24. We have to get up to 31 because we had 14 already. So 45 minus, wait, did I do that right? 14, yeah, no, sorry, brain again, losing itself, equals 31. And we know we've got 24 out, gives us 7 left. This is 1 or 3, so this has to be 4 or 6 to get us to 7, and this is a 2, 6 pair, so we're putting the 4 in here. Okay, that one was a bit tricky to see, and it did require me to pencil mark, and I know everybody keeps telling me pencil mark, pencil mark, pencil mark. I guess I have to stop. Okay, this is going to be good. I've got to stop being so stubborn, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, this has to be a 3, so that forces this to be a 7. This has to be the 8. This has to be the 9. This has to be the 7. This has to be an 8. Therefore, this can never be a 6, and it can't be the 5 either because it forces us to be. So this is 5, and this is 7. So that really did break things open. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and start pencil marking a lot more often because it just seems to be what works. Okay, now that we've got a bunch of stuff together, let's figure out what the heck we're doing. This has to be a 3. Therefore, these are a 1, 4 pair. This down here has to be from 1 and 5. Let's put that in. Did we get anything? Yeah, we did. So the 3 here forces this to be a 2. That forces this to be a 5 and a 2. And what else does that do? This is not 5. It's not really that big of a deal. Now this 1, 6 here gives us a 3, which gives us a 4. Means none of these are 4. This is a 1 because of that, which means this is a 4, which means this is not a 4, which means this is a 4. This is not a 4. So these have to be from, what do I say, 4, 6, and 7. This can't be 7. So one of these two is. This 3 here gives us a 1 and a 3. And can we do anything further with that? I don't know, but we do have, again, we have this these 4s here that I don't think we can quite use yet because of the multiple options on a 10 line, but let's continue down. Now this has to have a 9 in it because we can no longer have a 7. In fact, this just has to be a 1. So let's do the easy math because it's next to the 7. This has to be 5 and 1. And okay, just doing a quick scan, make sure we're not missing anything. The 1 that I put here, I could also have put here. So this is 1. Now this 8 cannot be 7, 1. But it could still be 6, 2, or 5, 3. This cannot be 2 or 5. So therefore this can't be 3 or 6. Okay, not quite enough there, but we're getting places now at least. Now I said this has to have a 9 in it. So what are our options here? If it does have a 9 in it, we've got 12 left over. So we've either got 984 or can't do 975, we can't do 96. This just has to be a 489. This isn't 4. Now these two have to be from 3 and 6, I believe. We've got a 3 here, so let's put our 3 and our 6 in. That gives us our 8, gives us our 7. That 8, we can remove that 8. And I was wondering if we had anything else we could remove. Yeah, we can remove 7s from those because of this guy. The 1 there, I was looking at this for the 6 and the 1. Just hadn't got to it yet. And what else? All right, so we're starting now to get to a point where we have a lot of rows and columns where maybe we can start filling these parts of this 10 line in that are going to come to some sort of fruition to it for us. Let's start on this column because it has the most bits that cannot occur, which they have to be 5, 6, and 9. This cannot be 9. This has to be from 4, 5, and 6, and it can't be 6. That's 4 or 5. Now we can probably figure something out here. This is a high-ish digit. Now it could easily be 314 or 316. 3, 1 equaling 4 plus 6. Sometimes the brain doesn't tick. If that is the case, that these are 3 together, that would force these 3 to be together. And that doesn't ever work. So that possible combination that these 3 are together, I think doesn't work. Because we then have to have these 3 together. If this is a 7, this would have to be 1, 2. There's a 2 here. If this is 6, this has to be 1, 3, and there's a 3 here. Now this could easily be 1, 3, 6 this way. Could this go up in here? The 6 would break this guy. If it just did this, because we'd have 6, 3, 1. What about if these 3 were parked together? It'd be 6, 3, 1. That would work perfectly fine, I think. Unless there's something preventing this from ever occurring. Now we can't do 9, but it could be 8, 2 here. With an 8 here and a 2 here, so I can't rule that out. Okay, let's continue on then. Instead of looking at this guy, because I think he's still just a fraction away from getting us where we want to go. This can't be a 5, because we've got a 4 here. And these can't be 6 and 7, so one of these must be a 9. And clearly the other one is a 6 or a 7. But again, not quite a ton of info. What about these guys? Let's just look through them. They must be from 1, 5, 6, and 9. This is not a 1. These guys, we're going to put it all in. We're going to bite the bullet and just do it. 2, 4, 5, and 8. This can't be 4. It's almost getting to a point where these matter. And maybe it does. What can this digit be? 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9. Okay, it does kind of reveal something here. I hate to admit it, but it does. There's no place that a 7 can go in this column. Except for here. Now, I could have seen that in a different way if I had looked at the column and just checked our 7s, but that does provide at least the understanding that this is a 7. Now, this 7 must go with this 3, so maybe this is where we want to go. I'm going to try to mark these. Let's see if that makes sense, because we have a 10 here. This has to be 10. Now we know this has to turn into a 10 line in some fashion. Now, clearly it can't just be 2 of these, so it has to be 3 of them. It can never be 4 of them, because it'd have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. 5, 6, 8, yeah, so this would get us to 8 if it were, or 9, excuse me, if we were to use the 5, and we don't have a 1 possibility here, so this must just be 6, which is going to force this to be 4 and 5. Get rid of the 5s here. We get a 2, 4, 8 here that forces this to be a 6. We know these can't be a 6. Now, we can't have a 5, 5 to equal 10, so this has to be a 9, 1. So 9, 1, and 5. Let's do our little marks and finish these guys off. And then we're left with a 2, 8 pair that must go here because the 4 can't do anything by itself. So this is 4. Okay, so that does get us moving again. And that 8 here will give us our 2 and our 8. Now, did we remove any options from these other places? This can't be 4. This can't be 9. So we've got 2, 3, 5, and 6. This has to be 6. So this has to be 2. This has to be 3, and 2, and 5. And we know this can't be 2. This can't be 2 or 6, so it is 4. This is 6. This is 2. This is not 6. I could have put that down normally anyway. We've got a 6 here that gives us our 9, so this is 5. This now has to be a 7. And we've got a couple of digits here that have to be from 7 and 9. We've got a 7, so this must be 9 and 7. These digits here, this can't be 8, so let's get rid of that. Did we have anything else looking down on it? No, we did not. So these digits must be from 3, 4, and 9. This cannot be 4 or 9, so it's 3. This is not 3 or 4. We get a doot in the corner. This is not 3 or 4, so it is 9. This is therefore 4. Get rid of those. We've got an 8, 9. This is a given digit of 3. That one's not quite dealt with yet. These are from 1 and 4. We've got 1s and 4s looking at it, so 1 and 4. These two digits are given as 5 and 6. Yeah, that appears to be right. And these must be from 8 and 9, and we have a 9. So let's put those in. These are not 9. These are not 8. This is not 7. This is 7. 5. We know one of these is 5. The 2 here. Let's get our 6 and 2 done. And this has to be not 9. These have to be from 7, 8, and 6. This cannot be 7. This cannot be 8. Okay, that didn't do too much, did it? Okay, looking around just to see if I can find the last bit to work this out. Oh, here it is, the 7 here. This can't be 7. So this is 8. This is 6. This is 7. This is going to finish everything off. And again, we are taught, just mark stuff down, you dummy. I don't know if it's like a pride thing or something, but Let's just do it. Okay, and let's check. You saw the puzzle solution is correct. So that was an awesome puzzle, Gummy Bear. 8 years old, heck of a job. He made me spend about 45 minutes working on this thing, but that was certainly a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you continue to make excellent puzzles like this. Really made my day. Keep at it. To all out there, of course, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.